Chapter 10. Li Jinqian threw Zhu Yunsheng onto the bed, then leaned over him. Just as he was about to tear open his clothes, his eyes fixed. He was in a trance. Zhu Yunsheng pushed him away and sat down on the bedside stool. Li Jinqian's pupils had no focus, but his actions were non-stop. He clung to the quilt and tore at it, pulling and biting. Then he immediately pressed himself onto the bed and arched fiercely. He let out a low roar like an angry dog in heat. Zhu Yunsheng leisurely looked at him until he felt bored. Then he stepped out of the room. Li Shudong was waiting outside. When he heard Li Jinqian's guttural roar, he silently retrieved a dagger from his boots, a murderous glint in his eyes. However, the door suddenly opened, and concubine father strolled out unharmed. Li Shudong's blood-red eyes instantly cleared. "Did Emperor Father hurt you?" Zhu Yunsheng did not answer. He was too busy staring at the dagger in the child's hands. He rebuked. "What do you want to do? Regicide? You fool! How many times have I told you?" He was interrupted by Li Shudong jumping into his arms. The child was only 15 years old this year, but he was big and tall. His jaw already reached his neck, and the stubble was growing in, even itched his chin uncomfortably. But he didn't have the height to push the boy away. He was, after all, the son he'd raised. You really weren't hurt by Emperor Father?" Li Shudong asked again. He heard the sounds of intercourse coming out from the room again and questioned, puzzled. "What is Emperor Father doing in there?" "Daydreaming," Zhu Yunsheng sneered. Li Shudong no longer questioned. He slowly opened. "Concubine Father, why did Emperor Father not visit for so long, then suddenly try to do this with you? He's just treating you like a tool to vent. Or maybe he's punishing Gao Min. He doesn't love you. Concubine Father, don't love him. He watched Gao Min poison you. He instructed Gao Lang to destroy your family. He also wanted to kill you. You should hate him. You won't be lonely because you still have me. I'll stay with you forever, respect you, protect you, become stronger and get revenge for you. I'll give all the treasures in the world to you. I'll make you happy. Father, we don't need to care about anyone else but each other. Don't you think so, Father?" His hoarse voice was urgent and pleading. He couldn't stand anyone who wanted to take his father away. Zhu Yunsheng helplessly touched his cheek and smiled. "Naturally, in the palace, the only person I care about will always be you. As for Li Jinqian, I will not hate him. Hate requires care and energy." Li Shudong was relieved. He grabbed his hand and rubbed it against his cheek, like a puppy that only needed his master's touch. Zhu Yunsheng was both angry and amused. He pushed him away and reprimanded. "Li Jinqian can't hurt me. The next time something like this happens, just wait outside. You're too impulsive. If you'd stabbed him in this palace, a lot of my efforts would have gone to waste." Li Shudong nodded over and over. He looked cute. The violent bloodthirstiness from before was gone. This child is very respectful. Raising him really wasn't a bad decision. He's just a little rebellious and too sticky. Looking at the wolf cub who had once again affixed himself to his side, Zhu Yunsheng sighed helplessly. In the evening, Li Jinqian woke up from his sleep and saw Shi Shujie kneeling at the bedside, holding a set of ropes. He was pale, his lips chapped, and he looked very haggard. Li Jinqian froze. Then his mind involuntarily flashed out many scenes. In his rage, he ripped Shi Shujie's clothes, bit him, gripped him, then viciously ran through him. It was not love, it was an atrocity. But the person in front of him did not show the slightest resentment. He even forced his body to kneel and offer close to him. Li Jinqian's face reddened in shame, but he also felt guilty that he'd betrayed Gao Min. Even at this point in time, Gao Min was still in his thoughts. He really was hopeless. In deep self-loathing, Li Jinqian quickly dressed and fled in a panic. Then he sent over many treasures to Xishan Palace. Li Jintian wanted to suppress the matter so Gao Min couldn't learn about it. So half a month later, when Gao Min firmly asked him to send him and his troops to the south, Li Jintian agreed on the surface, but he schemed in the background. He gave the 14 years and older princes some duties in the court, and he secretly recruited the private soldiers in Gao family in order to weaken Gao family and the Gao family and the Prince Li's forces. Of course, some of his means were rather dark. The day before Gao Min's expedition, Gao family sent some news. Grandmother had an emergency and suddenly died. In accordance with customs, when the ancestors of a family dies, the family leaders needed to mourn for 3 years. Gao Lang traveled to the palace to see Gao Min about this matter. You want me to use the emperor's feelings for me to persuade him to free you from the 3 years of mourning? Gao Min frowned. Not only free me, to free you too. We can't delay helping in the south. My Gao family has finally earned such a good opportunity. 3 years of mourning will ruin my plans. The emperor doesn't only favor you anymore. Qi Shujia and the sixth prince are pampered too. Maybe in three years they will make a comeback and endanger you and your son's status. Gao Lang expressed his worry. I've already disabled Qi Shujie and sixth prince. They can't cause any trouble now. Brother, grandmother has always cared for us. She's dead. How can we just ignore filial piety for our own convenience? And don't mention using the emperor's feelings again. I don't need to manipulate him. You don't know the extent of the emperor's feelings for me. You should forget those unnecessary concerns. Gao Min waved his hands, unworried. Gao Lang considered for a moment, then reluctantly nodded. After the two men went their own ways, the spy relayed the conversation to the emperor. Li Jintian glanced at the report, then gave a mocking smile. When Qi family's ancestor had passed away, Qi Jia's head had unified more than 20 people and held a mourning vigil for a whole day. How could Gao Lang compare? His ambitions were really big. Xishan Palace. When Zhou Yunsheng heard that Gao's grandmother had died, he knew that Li Jintian was behind it. He couldn't currently move Gao family, but 3 years was more than enough time to slowly weaken and collapse their forces. He'd also dealt with the Chao family in this slow way. This was what it meant to be royalty. No matter how powerful the courtiers were, their life and death were still in the emperor's hand. In a few days he will ask Li Jintian for the bones of his family. The Qi family were all beheaded. Their bones were casually discarded in the outskirts of the city in a disorderly burial. To find them all will not be an easy task. But although it was not easy, as long as it was Xi Shujie's wish, Zhou Yunsheng would complete it for him. While he was lost in his thoughts, Li Shudong came in, drenched in sweat, carrying a bow and arrow. He immediately clung to his concubine father's waist, his head rubbing into his shoulder. Go away, child, you're covered in sweat. The little cub had gotten incurably hungrier and thirstier lately. Concubine father, I missed you. The boy's voice was starting to get deeper. You've only been in the exercise field for 2 hours, yet you miss me? Are you still weaning? Zhou Yunsheng gave a helpless smile. Of course, even leaving for 1 hour would make me miss you. Li Shudong didn't answer, but his lips quietly brushed his father's earlobe. Zhou Yunsheng patted him, then lightly said, I heard that Li Jintian is letting all the other older princes get experience in political affairs. Which department are you going to go to? I want to go to the Ministry of Appointments or the Ministry of Revenue. Power and money. You can only think of these two things? What does concubine father mean? Go to the south. Li Shudong was silent, reluctant. He didn't want to leave his concubine father's side. Zhu Yunsheng saw his little mind and explained. Power, contracts, money, although they can consolidate your position in the classroom, it won't let you board the supreme throne. The Showan capital has rebelled for 3 years, but they haven't gotten anywhere. Do you know why? It's because they have no military power. The one who has the biggest muscle is the one who has the qualifications to rule the country. He didn't wait for Li Shudong to answer. He continued, "Don't even think of telling me that you don't want to be emperor. If Li Shuyan sits on that throne instead of you, do I need to tell you how we will end up? Gao Min hates us. Because Li Jintian is still alive, he doesn't outright attack us. But when Li Jintian dies, he will eagerly kill us. Did you think that he'd leave us alone because he thinks we're disabled? If it was you, could you even feel relieved if your enemy was still alive?" Li Shudong, of course, wouldn't feel relieved, but he was reluctant to leave concubine father alone in the palace. His eyes were anxious, but he knew that now was not the time to be willful. He'd promised to protect concubine father, to be concubine father's pillar. Now was the time to rise up. "Concubine father, I'll go to the south. I will crush them for you. Please be careful here." Li Shudong tightly hugged his father. His red eyes had killing intent. He would one day kill Gao Min and Li Shuyan. He'll also kill Li Jintian. If those three had not persecuted him, concubine father would not have such a difficult life. Some princes requested to go to the Ministry of Revenue, some to the Ministry of Appointment, and some to the Ministry of Rights. In short, they went into whichever department had real power. Li Shuyan, of course, went into the Ministry of Revenue, and the rest of the princes went their own way. Only 6 princes proposed to follow the army to the south for experience. Even Li Jintian was stumped. Gao Min smiled scornfully after hearing the news. A disabled boy is rushing to the battlefield just to die. 6th prince is really too bold. But this was a good opportunity for him. On the battlefield, where swords swung indiscriminately, sending people to inconspicuously get rid of 6th prince was too easy. With 6th prince dead, what hope does Qi Xiujie have in this life? He'd tasted the pain of losing a son in the last life. In this life, he will make Qi Xiujie feel this pain. Having said that, it was good that Li Jintian had pardoned Qi Xiujie's death penalty. A simple beheading was really too easy for him. So Gao Min not only didn't oppose, he even urged Li Jintian to quickly send 6th prince away. At the same time, he also stuffed Gao Nian, who had finally healed from his injury, into the South's troops, so he could gain some military power. Li Jintian called 6th prince into the study for an hour-long talk to see if he understood his petition. The war lasted a full 3 years. In those 3 years, Gao family's army was successfully undermined by Li Jintian, and Prince Li was implicated in a salt tax case and was exempt from his duties. Even the spoiled 5th prince made successive mistakes and was reprimanded by Li Jintian in front of the morning imperial court. His prestige was greatly reduced. But most shockingly, the inconspicuous 7th prince gradually began to show his talent and joined the limelight.